Hello and what is going on, lovely people of the internet? It is Who Money here with another video for you guys today. Today we're going to be talking about a stock that I purchased this morning. I actually made $600 on this stock in a single minute trading options. I bought the options last night. I placed the order. The order got filled at 9:30 and immediately this thing ran up a lot. Before I could even blink an eye, it was up 70%, then it was up 120%. I sold out too early like I always do, but I still made about $600 in about 30 seconds, which is pretty unreal for me at least. And yeah, I rolled those profits into shares, so I basically have risk-free shares. I used the profits from options and I bought shares of this stock. So that is actually a good strategy. If you do want to limit your risk, you can always roll your option profits into shares, and then you're just playing with house money at that point. If it goes to zero, boom, you're good, because in the end of the day, you didn't even lose anything. So this stock that we're talking about is Sunl. It is a stock that has a few coming catalysts, and analysts are predicting at least 140% upside on this stock. It also has 50% short interest. So this is the basic summary of this stock. We'll get into more technical details later in this video, but I kindly ask, if you guys appreciate these updates, to give that early like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more. I'd like to thank my sponsor Public for sponsoring this channel. They have an amazing stock brokerage and they're doing a promotion where you get up to $70 in free stock as long as you deposit at least $1. So check that out if you have not already, and let's just get right into the video. Alright, so as you guys can see, I placed this order about 12 hours ago. It was 11 p.m. I was doing research. I was posting to my Discord channel about this stock. I did tons of research. I made a thread about this. So definitely join my Discord if you haven't already, because then you can get access to all this information before I can even talk about it on YouTube. Because honestly, usually by the time I talk about something on YouTube, I've already made a trade in the stock. It takes a while to upload and edit these videos. So as you guys can see here, we have a 7.5 strike price call option expiring to October 15th. I bought it for $1,200 and I immediately sold it literally 30 seconds in the market open for $1,800. So a $600 profit right off the bat. Then I rolled it into 100 shares for $615. So my total cost for this entire trade was about $15, excluding tax costs from selling that option for a $600 profit. So that's just one example of how to reduce risk when investing in these risky assets. Obviously, buying those options in the first place was very risky, but cashing out and using house money is a way to almost completely eliminate risk. So anyways, here's the chart of Sunl, and you guys can see there was a big green candle at open. So I got filled literally at open when this thing was at $6 per share. The reason that I was looking at this stock last night at least is because it closed at around $5.80, and the lowest price that it saw over the past few months was $5.07. So in my opinion, I only really saw an 80-cent downside per share. So I was very, very intrigued right off the bat. Then there's also a few different catalysts going for this stock. So if we move over here, you guys can see there's multiple headlines of, actually there's a better showing of this right here. We can see multiple different insider buys. It was on September 10th and August 19th, and it was the CEO, the CFO, and the COO. And if we also go back to the chart, you can also see this increasing volume, increasing interest, obviously because of the short interest and the insider buying. I do believe that volume has gone up on this stock. So these two boxes that I put on the screen right now are basically where most of the short interest has accrued on this stock. So at least these new shorts right here, we are beating. And then these shorts back here, some of them are down, some of them are not down overall. But if this does continue to rally, those shorts will also have more pressure to buy back their stock. Now, Sunl was formerly a SPAC. So as soon as that merger completed, essentially back here, you guys can see it was trading at like $10 a share until the merger went through, and then it immediately dumped off, just like every single SPAC pretty much. and that's when a majority of the short interest did accrue. We'll go over the Ortex data in a second, but clearly the volume is coming up, and we did see today, this morning, as soon as market opened, the largest green volume candle that we've seen in a while. I wouldn't necessarily chase this one right off the bat, maybe let it come down a bit and then establish a position. We can see that throughout July and August, there were multiple analysts that gave this a buy rating, and their price targets were between $14 and $15 per share. Here's a description of what the company actually does. If you guys care, just pause the video and read through this. I also briefly looked through the company's fundamentals, and I did think it was slightly overvalued at the current price level. And having those high analyst price targets as well as the insider buying does make me consider that there is some fundamentals behind this that I'm just not currently aware of. Anyways, screw the fundamentals. We're going to be looking at the short interest data right now. You guys can see right off the bat, 51% short interest of free float, 5 million current short interest, and the float is around 10 million shares. So it is another micro float stock. You can see the cost to borrow is 11.55. Now, this is very important because this cost to borrow can go up really fast, and that's because right now the current shares on loan is 3.89 million shares, and the estimated short interest is 5 million shares. So there's going to be a liquidity crisis pretty soon with this stock, especially if short interest does continue to go up, because the current short interest far exceeds the shares on loans, meaning that shares are being loaned out twice currently. The utilization rate is currently 92%, so there are a few more shares that are able to be shorted, and we can take a look at Fintel to get a really good understanding. There's about 300,000 shares that can be shorted on this stock as of 51 minutes ago, but if this price does continue to climb, obviously more shorts are going to be interested in shorting this stock. So I do expect that utilization rate to increase. The current days to cover is 3.83, which is actually pretty high, especially if you compare it to a stock like support.com where it's 0.39. That's literally 10 times greater days to cover than support.com. So if shorts were to cover, if every single short were to cover on this stock, it would cause a much larger price movement. Now, the volume has gone up as of today, so I do expect the days to cover figure to come down slightly over the coming days, especially if volume does pick up on this stock, and because of that, I do see a lot of pressure on the current shorts. All right, so here we have utilization and average age on loan charted out, and both of them actually did drop recently, and I do believe this must be from people who are selling out early, covering their short positions because they did see that insider buying on the stock. But at the same time, I would like to mention that there has been an influx of new shares that have been put on loan as of Tuesday, September 14th. So we are in a situation when some of these shares are returned, they are reshorted by newer shorts. However, most of those newer shorts, as you guys can see, did get in on this price range. So at the end of the day, those shorts are still hurting as long as we maintain this level. I think as long as we maintain above $6 per share, we could see something good. Now, looking at some of this historical flow for SUNL, you can see that there's much more open interest in calls than puts right now. And we can also see right here in the right-hand corner that the call option volume has been spiking up over the past week, currently seeing an all-time high for call option volume as of today. I'd be careful jumping into buying call options on this stock because obviously they're the most expensive they've ever been. With this increase in call option volume, the implied volatility is through the roof, and you're definitely paying for that added volatility at this point. Also, the put to call ratios are extremely low. It says that today it's at 0 and Wednesday it was also at 0. I mean, obviously there's some people who bought put options, but having a 0 put to call ratio is extremely bullish. That means the sentiment is almost 100% bullish. Now we're looking at the options flow for SUNL going into close as of yesterday. It was almost completely bullish, which is why I did buy those call options at market open, and I did that quick flip. However, if we do switch to the current flow, it has become increasingly more bearish. However, at the same time, even the bearish plays are people just selling call options. No one is buying a put. You don't even see a put on the flow. So it is still a bullish strategy to sell options sometimes, especially if you're doing a covered call option strategy. That's still a bullish option strategy. Just the act of selling a call option is bearish. One more thing that I would like to mention is that this float is extremely small at 9.79 million shares, and the total amount of shares outstanding is 84.84 million shares. So I'm going to quickly calculate the market caps based off of the total amount of shares outstanding and the float. So if we take 6.1, which is the current share price, and we multiply it times 84.84, we get a market cap of about $517 million. But the story changes as soon as you look at the float, because the float is so tiny. We have a 9.79 million share float, and if we multiply it times 6.1, we get $59 million in the float. So this thing can move quickly. Obviously, having a small float, a micro float, a float of $59 million can move extremely fast. You know, if someone shorts $1 million, that's a pretty big chunk of the float. So it could go up fast, it could go down fast, so it's extremely volatile, so you can also capitalize off of volatility. So yeah, that's about it for the analysis. Another thing I want to mention about this stock is that it's down on the past 3 months. It's down on the month. It's up 6% on the week, and on today's date, it's up 8%. So if you did buy this stock, it's not like you're buying a stock that's up hundreds of percent in a month or hundreds of percent in a week even. For example, bbig, it's also up 8% on today, but if we go to a month, it's up 246%. If we go to 3 months, it's up 123%. So just be mindful of the risk that you're taking on with some of these stocks. And obviously there's opportunities where you can make similar returns, but you don't have to take on the same amount of risk. Like the lowest that this stock has gone in the past month is $5.17 right here. And in 3 months, we had $5.09 where it touched down. It's not even showing that on Robinhood. But you see my point here, that there are plays in the stock market where you can make money without taking on the same risk as the most popular play. So that's about it for the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something today, as always. And if you guys did enjoy this video, I kindly ask that you do leave that like on the video, subscribe for more, and definitely hit that bell down below. Do all that stuff. I love all that stuff, and I appreciate you guys watching this video. I'd also like to thank Public for sponsoring me here on this channel. They're an amazing stock brokerage. They don't do any payment for order flow or none of that, and they have a great user interface. And they're doing a promotion where you get up to $70 in free stocks for depositing at least $1 on their platform. So definitely check that out as well. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Peace.